I specialize in Northern California, right? Mostly in Bay Area. I specialize in many cities, but specifically, if you ask me about a certain city, yes, I can help you out and give you more information on specific city. What do I see on the market right now? It's not cooling off. It's not. It's actually worse than in July. So in July it was a little bit slow, right? So and my buyers could get in a contract, and I think these buyers who got in a contract in July, they've been lucky. And right now I can't get anyone in a contract, but like I'm working on it really hard. So I just today I submitted in Belmont for one house, and there were 9 offers, and we put like 300K on top, and we lost.
In Belmont.
So
Is that in
in
Belmont? Okay.
Belmont, yes. So yes, I've seen my clients wanted to submit for one house in Los Gatos. It was a fixer-upper. It went from a market like within one day, so we couldn't even submit. In other words, yes, market is picking up. Yes, there is a lot of buyers, and actually most of the buyers are even more activated, right? So why it's happening? Again, interest rate is very low, right? And rent is rising. Rent is gonna rise, and everyone knows it. Inflation, right? And so some of my buyers, they say the rent is rising, and they start moving. So yes, and I was hoping if moratorium will stop and there is more homes gonna come on the market, like more homes will be on the market after renters are moving out and so on. But it's very doubtful that's gonna happen. And if these properties will come on the market, it's still a big shortage, right? It needs to be a big amount of homes in the neighborhood for the buyers to like dissolve like in this shortage of a market. So yes, I still think we're gonna go grow and not go down in prices, and unless the interest rate is gonna go up. Yes, in San Jose, very interesting market trend right now, right? So the San Jose market is actually becomes even stronger than it was before, right? It would be so. Let's say in a very short time, I think it would be very unrealistic to get a single family home in San Jose uh, under 1 mil, right? And everyone needs to realize it. We're gonna come in San Jose. San Jose comes very strong. Specifically, if you look what happens today, the price is going only up, and there is still room to grow. So basically, everything which is under 1 mil as a single family in San Jose, one day it's going to be 1 mil, right? And we're going very strongly to this direction. So if we look at the next slide, you could see on my graphs, and we actually talk about specifically single family homes, but I can assure that happens even for townhomes and condos, right? Specifically townhomes in some communities, they've been like up since like a month or 2 months ago. They've been up like 100K, 50K above market value.
I want to talk about the median sale price dollar per square foot. In San Jose, it is at about seven to about close to $800 per square foot,
Yes,
and that is actually lower than Fremont.
yes,
And
yes.
why do you think that?
Because Fremont has, I mean, I think the San Jose, it just, this is on the whole ratio of the city, right? Like it's San Jose is split on many areas, right? There is East San Jose, there is a northern part of San Jose, there is Blossom Valley. So basically, it's all together, right? But in Fremont specifically, Fremont targeted mostly because of the school district, right? Of course, it's going to be higher in price than San Jose, because not all the areas of San Jose, I mean, like have good school districts.
Yes, of course. But in Fremont, the majority, over 80%, have good school district. Is that right?
Yes, yes, and people with families, they do target Fremont. Yeah, here you can see specifically on the graph, right, what happens in San Jose with single family homes. You can see in July it was a little slow. I mean, like on the prices, what it hit like on the graph it was lower, but right now people list properties and they sell a little bit higher. So on market inventory, we don't see much, added to the market, right? So that's another factor which plays a big role in the prices, right? So yes, I believe the San Jose market has a room to grow. Some neighborhoods already like well above like growth, but I think there is still potential growth in there too. Yeah, and that's a little example on San Carlos. San Carlos is a very specific city, right? San Carlos, Belmont. A lots of people want to get in there, want to get a house in there, but it's very, very rare you would see anything listed in San Carlos, right? So, and if it gets listed on average, you will get like multiple offers at any market, right? Like from 10 and above, right? So yes, San Carlos, it's flat. There is nothing to buy, and people actually beat a lot of buyers in San Carlos Belmont area, like in San Jose as well. It shows Fremont. Yes, recently, I think what actually pushes these prices a little bit, like to you see on the median list price went a little bit, but it's a list price. It's not a sale price specifically, right? So Fremont market is still pretty strong, right? And some properties, yes, they went a little bit lower than like in price than in January, right? But we still pretty strong in Fremont in sale prices. So people still bid. There is a lot multiple bids on the properties. I recently got I recently got a property at the market value. So basically, I got in a contract within like 1 day, and the property was in the market just 1 day, and I knew the market value of the property. So I submitted within 1 day, and then after that, so we submitted at 1.3, but I knew the value about 1.6. So after we submitted and my offer got accepted, there were a couple other offers, and people started to bid already at 1.5. It was a lot of stress, but I submitted it like within a couple hours, which is insane. But yes, the sellers, they just accepted our offer, and I think it was just lucky, very lucky deal. So yes, there is still opportunities, but as you can see, the property being on the market just like 1 day, and it already got like three offers within 1 day. It shows how much market is strong in Fremont.
Are you still submitting non-contingent offers?
All of my offers non-contingent. I do not even try to count contingent, which is insane. I think majority of agents who are listing agents right now, and I am as well, right? Like we expect that we've been spoiled, and we everyone expects non-contingent. So yes, I do all of my offers non-contingent.
All right, I'll share with you. Recently, I submitted a non-contingent offer on behalf of a buyer in 95132.
Mhm.
And, I had this discussion with the buyer. Buyer is a first time home buyer. So naturally, you need some counseling on the buyers. What kind of counseling do you give your first time home buyers about submitting non contingent offers?
Well, I'm very careful with what I'm doing, specifically with risk management, right? Like for my clients. So I just explain, okay, we have all inspections on hand, and there is nothing potentially can be wrong in the house because everything on hand. We remove inspections. No way to negotiate. I mean, like there is no need to inspect. I mean, to leave inspection contingency. Appraisal. I'm very good at appraising properties, and I actually can at any location, right? Like most likely, I will definitely let you my clients before even submitting. I can estimate the value and at what price it will go, right? And so my clients, they either listen to me or not, and I will say it will appraise at this price 100%, right? If you want to risk like if you want to put higher price, there is a risk it's not going to price at 50K. Can you do it? Can you cover it? They would say yes. And then we would go very brave with a non-contingent on appraisal, right? But I will estimate and let them know correctly. And on my loan side, right, like I always talk to my loan officer, and he will tell me right away. He will tell me these clients will get loan 100%, right? And I will say, can I remove the loan for them? He will say, yes, go ahead. If he has a little doubt, he will say, no, please don't do it until I will clarify one item. But yes, like every time I go non-contingent, I will talk to my clients about all the potential risks and try to minimize the risk.
Yeah, it seems like the last 10 offers that you submitted, they have all been non-contingent, and
Yes.
that's a pretty good. It says a lot about the kind of confidence you have in submitting non-contingent offers. What gave you that confidence?
Well, I do know how to read the reports. I mean, like, I'm very good at reading the reports and noticing very major issues in a house. And I can estimate directly, like, how much some items can cost to my clients. And then if there is like little items, I would say, like, please just don't pay attention to this. Let's move on because there is like 10 buyers submitting for this house, and you have to be, to understand the situation here. So, and appraisal, again, the valuation, I do very thorough valuation before suggesting any price to my buyer, because I will look at the comparables. I call the other agents, I call pending listings, I call the ones which are supposed to close really soon. I talk to the agents around, right? I make my market analysis very thorough, so I know at the exact price it will possibly will appraise, right? So I never so far I mean, like, I never made a mistake on my appraisal valuations. Yes, and that just another graph which shows a median listing price for single family homes, right? So in Fremont, we see the growth. And again, July, people who submitted in July probably been very lucky all over the Bay Area. So, and market inventory right now in Fremont, it's catching up a little bit. But I would say, like a lot of properties I would see all over Bay Area. Some people, like I will see these spots all over Bay Area in multiple cities. I think people, like agents, they talk to the sellers, and potentially some sellers start moving. And yes, there is some movement and some addition of the listings to the market, but it's still not enough. We're still short. Like the buyers who want to buy,
We got
it's
a
still
question for you. We
yes.
got a question from the audience. Will the pending sales reveal the approximate price it was sold? That's a good question.
Will the painting sales reveal the approximate? I mean, if I don't get the question. I mean, like, if the painting sale, basically, yes. If I call the agent and I will ask nicely, so yes, they will. If some agents, they can tell me at what price they pending, and some agents, they don't want to tell it directly, right? And I would say, okay, are you pending above 1.2? And they say like, yes, we penned about 1.2. And they said, do you pend below 1.3? They would say, yes, we penned below 1.3. That's why I kind of estimated what price they will close.
But that was
But
a
yes,
good question by Bala, though, because oftentimes we see a property went into pending, and then we also look at the listing price. Looking at the listing price, we can kind of figure out, okay, if it went into pending very quickly and the price is much below the market value, they use the bidding war strategy, and the final price is going to be much higher, especially if it went into pending so quickly, right?
yes, always, always. If it went to pending, I mean, not specifically always. Actually, that's it depends, right? Like you always, the market is very unspecific, right? It depends on the agent who is listing. It depends if the agent is I mean, like, knows the market very well. Some agents, they have like the only transaction in a year, right? They put the listing on the market and they have no idea what happens on the market, literally. And then, like, if you're really fast, if they open to preemptive, you can catch a really good deal. But it happens very rare, right? So if, and you know what, telling about the prices, which is absolutely insane. I recently went with my clients to see a home in Campbell. It was actually maybe early August, and it was priced at 2.1. And you know at what price it closed? I actually told them like, oh, they probably gonna have multiple bids, and they probably will hit 2.5. My valuation 2.5, correct? So like, and usually because you estimate all the area and all the homes in the neighborhood closed at 2.5, right? 2.6 maybe some of them. And I just recently saw at what price it closed, and it closed at 3 mil, which is insane. And it has no comparables supporting it, which is
Oh,
absolutely insane. And market right now is very unpredictable, right? Like, I would protect my buyers, but some of the buyers come so strong and they just overprice every rational buyer, and it still happens sometimes, right? And I it's very surprising actually, but yes,
yeah.
some people have cash, and I would say lots of people have cash. And 1 mil in Bay Area right now, it's 1 mil, it's just like, probably you think it's like 100K back then, right? 1 mil is very like everyone majority of people have cash, I would say. Yes, and that's just to make fun of a little bit. So basically, when my clients come to the listing, I actually try not to, like, I would ask them, don't show your excitement, right? Like, don't be like super happy about the listing, because, like, as soon as, because, some listing agents right now, if they have a beautiful listing, they know they will have a lot of competition, but we just try to be quiet and don't show that we really, really like it, and then submit.
All right. Why don't you give us an outlook for the next 6 months for the Bay Area housing market?
Yeah, that's a tough question to reply to, right? Like, what's the prognosis for like 6 months ahead, right? I don't know. I think nobody knows. Nobody knew how it's gonna turn during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, and I just would say, I know that I think Fed's meeting at October, right, to give to think about if they will raise the rate or not. I think if they will raise the rate on loans, right, then we will see probably a little draw drawback in prices, but it's not going to be big, because all these prices on a in real estate in Bay Area, they already fixated, right? So basically, if the interest rate will go up, there is going to be only a small percentage of people who will drop from this market, right? So because some of the clients whom I have, they say, we don't care what the rate's going to be. We just care how much money we'll get from a bank. They don't care if the rate is going to be 4, if the rate is going to be 3, right? They
Mm-hmm.
just care how much they can get for the loan. So, and majority of people think this way. So a little percentage of buyers will stop buying, because for them, on a mortgage bills, like even $200 a month, it will make a big difference, right? So, and that will make less competition on the market, but it's still going to be competition. Some people still will bid. And so, in this, like, probably will make the market not go down, right? But it's just gonna correct, like, people not gonna overbid, like, right now, if the rate is gonna go up. That's just my thinking. But if the rate is gonna stay the same, which is going to keep growing. I mean, like, we just keep growing to the direction only up, right?
Yeah.
And the other scenario, which I would see, if the properties which are rented with moratorium, more properties will come on the market. That's what people expect, right? It's gonna have a little effect as well. We're not gonna grow as fast, and it will give like, let's say like there's going to be 10 homes on a neighborhood instead of two. That will make a big difference, but it doesn't mean the price is going to drop. It just, we're not gonna see bids like insane, right?
Yeah.
They will be maybe like today I submitted literally 300K above asking price,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we lost. So honestly, I don't know what happens next, but couple scenarios I would assume.